About 9 days ago, the Mufti of Perlis, Dato Muhammad Asri Zainul Abidin, may Allah protect him, he called me to discuss on the topic of today's talk. And he suggested that I speak on the topic Zakir Naik, my life and my story. Initially I was reluctant because of falling into the trap of Satan. As many of you may be aware, that one of the major sins in Islam is riyah. It is arrogance, it is pride. And the Satan is specifically behind those people who are successful and closer to Allah. So we as dais should be very careful not to fall in the plan of the Satan. And I would not like to be among those people who are blowing their own trumpet and falling into this. But Dr. Maza, as he's called in the short form, the Mufti of Perlis, mashallah, very knowledgeable person and very close to me, and explained to me that the purpose is so that I can inspire the Muslim Ummah, the youngsters and the others to come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I agreed with him, reminding me of the incidents in the year 2015 when I went to take advice from Sheikh Abdul Aziz Tarifi. According to me, amongst the living Islamic scholars in the world, according to me, one of the greatest living Islamic scholar today in the world is Sheikh Abdul Aziz Tarifi. And he's very close to me because there was an advisor of mine, and we have been even taking advice from McKinsey. I don't know how many of you are aware of McKinsey. It is one of the most reputed consultation firm in the world, which has branches in most parts of the world. So one of the advisors, they told me that if you want to increase in dawah, you have to make a brief profile of yourself. Make a book talking about yourself. And they advised me to make a book, Dr. Zakir, a brief introduction. And I was reluctant. They being expert in the field of advertising, in marketing, they are doing their job. I was reluctant. And when the book was made by my staff, alhamdulillah, summa alhamdulillah, it came out very well. Hardcover, very good paper, very good printing, something unique. But I was scared. I was scared to give it to anyone, thinking that I may lose all the thawab that I have gained, whatever little bit in my life of serving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when I went to Sheikh Abdul Aziz Tarifi, and I told him that this was the advice I got from my advisor, from McKinsey, and I'm not feeling happy giving this book to anyone. He said, why? Because I don't want to, be falling into the trap of pride, of riyah, of arrogance. So Sheikh Abdul Aziz Tarifi told me, because you're thinking, you're feeling bad, that itself shows that you're not proud of yourself, number one. The moment you're feeling bad, that you don't want to give this book to anyone, itself is a sign that you're not doing it for arrogance or pride. Number two, he said the advice given to you was for what purpose? So I told him so that my dawah activity would increase, the people would come to know about my activities and the support would increase and the reach would be more. Because that book had a lot of achievements, a lot of awards, photographs with heads of states of the world, with top scholars. It came out to be so good that I was afraid. After taking the advice of Sheikh Abdul Aziz Tarifi, then I was a little bit relaxed. And I saw to it that I didn't make it public, but gave it only to those people who I thought would benefit the dawah. 9 days back, when the Mufti of Perlis, Dr. Maza, as he's called by the people who love him, he again came up with the same hikmah, that the purpose is not to show off. And he told me that when you give your life story, many a times people who are successful, they don't tell their story and it is lost. When you say it with your own mouth, many things would inspire the Muslim Ummah, and we can make small clips of 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes for your full talk. We can make clips so that would inspire the people all over the world. I told him, Mufti, talking about my life would minimum take 2 hours. He said, no problem. And I agreed with the suggestion. And today's topic is Zakir Naik, my life and my story, from a stammerer to an Islamic orator, and hijrah from India to Malaysia. Later on, when I started to gather my thought, what should I speak? I realized it's impossible to cover in 2 hours. I require minimum 5 hours. Then when I thought more, no, I require 10 hours. Then when I thought more, I said, no, 20 hours. Then I said, impossible, minimum 25 hours. And but naturally, I can't give a talk for 25 hours. So now I am in a dilemma. How can I finish my life and my story in 2 hours? So let me tell you, this will just be scratching the surface. But I decided that inshallah, in the coming few months, I would give a series of talk in my studio in Putrajaya, maybe for more than 25 hours, trying to fulfill little bit what Dr. Maza wanted, so that we can make small clips, 25 hours or more than that, so it will not be lost in wilderness. And I know many a times it would be an inspiration for youngsters, because today we have 2 types of thought about dais. Where I come from, India, a dai means miskeen, poor person, not having knowledge of the world at all. Coming from madrasa, a different angle to it. When we go to some parts of the world where Muslims are majority, they make dawah as a profession to earn money, these extremes, and they charge a lot. So these are 2 extremes which we have. Inshallah, maybe my life and my story would be an example for the people to become dais. Let me tell you one thing in the beginning, and I'll conclude with that also, that never ever become a dai so that you can earn money in this world. As a profession, no problem. That doesn't mean you can't take salary. Because all of us know the very famous dua that we do from the Quran. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasnatan wa fil akhirati hasnatan wa qina azabin nar. Oh my Lord, give me the best in this world and the akhirah, and save me from the torment of the hellfire.